In part 25 of Fire Emblem Engage, we head off to Elusia to get the next Emblem bracelet. And on the way there talks about Nil and kind of how scary she is and how she snuck away last night. We then meet Madeline, which is this world's Marnie, who was gathering info on Elusia. And soon after, we run into Mavier, who is supposed to be watching over Solm. Turns out Mavier followed the Queen of Solm over to Elusia, and we then walk in to see the two armies clashing in a nearby battlefield. So we start the map, and we get another character who we have to deploy, which is Madeline. Mavier is surprisingly not here, but we do have to use Madeline. She is basically Louis with slightly lower defenses, but much better resistances, starting with a base 9, while Louis was sitting at like 3. Also, she uses axes. So we start the battle, and this map has two different armies with us stuck in the middle. The enemies will fight each other, but often it ends up with them just attacking us. So I figure the best course of action when caught between two opposing armies is to try and wall off or stall the enemies in one direction while I push through the other side, so then we only have to fight essentially one direction in the end. In this case, I try and control the middle of the map and hold off the approaching illusions while the majority of my army pushes towards Tamara and the Solm forces, as they are, in general, much safer. I mean, they're all physical oriented, so I don't have to worry about a random mage absolutely destroying Louis or anything like that. We very quickly finish off Tamara as she uses a magic weapon since she has Emblem Camilla, and she doesn't really have a good magic stat. So she quickly dies, and as soon as she does, Ivy calls in backup wyverns. You know, those ones that are a pain because of the true damage? Well, good news and bad news is that these things are flyers. Since they fly, nowhere's really safe in them, but also they take effective damage from bows and wind tomes, so we might be able to actually deal with them. Also, the wyverns have lower damage, only like 18 instead of like 20-something, 28, but they can hit from up to 5 tiles away. So we try to start clearing out enemies on the Solm side, but as soon as one commander goes down, the other one starts to push, so Ivy starts moving and attacking with a bolting tome, and quickly gets really close to our people in the middle, which is Boucheron, Louis, Alir, and I think Madeline. Good news, Boucheron, when engaged with Tiki, can deal with most things. He actually does a little over half of Ivy's health. I then make a dumb move. I have Louis engage with Hector and use Storm Eye, because I'm like, oh, he can, draw in the aggro and tank and all that. I then plan was, after I did that, I went, oh wait, I can use Nil with Byleth to dance for Louis and Alir, and that should be good enough. Once you use Storm Eye, you cannot get an extra movement. So, panic. Alir can't deal with, can't finish off Ivy. So what I do is I engage Alir with Veronica, roll the gacha, and hope that that person can deal with Ivy. They cannot. But the fabrication is able to draw enough aggro, specifically from the true damage dragons, that nobody dies, and the very next turn, since everyone's alive, I send Boucheron in and we finish off Ivy. After the battle, Ivy and Tamara are still trying to fight and are unwilling to give up the bracelets. Nil asks us to just close our eyes for a second and goes and proceeds to kill and likely eat these people in her dragon form. We're pissed because we didn't sign up for this. We signed up to collect bracelets, not kill leaders of kingdoms. And Nil then reveals that actually they were corrupted. Not just those royals, all the royals, and in fact, most likely everyone in this world. Nil then gets really emotional, saying that she was trying to stay strong and look out for us, and kept thinking about this world's divine dragon. And she runs off to go cry somewhere else, with the Four Winds following her, leaving just Alir and Nil behind. Alir chats with Nil about Nil before Nil suddenly asked, how is Nil going to handle losing someone so close to her for the second time? Yep, turns out Nil is actually evil, and is revealed in a flashback that Nil's twin actually did die, and Nil took his place and hid his powers, waiting to take over the world if Sombron failed. Alir is then captured.